All right, I'm not sure we're breaking news right now, but we're certainly talking about the weather. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist John Dawson, and it is a gorgeous day. And maybe we will call that breaking news because it seems like for the last 3 Mondays, we've been bracing ourselves for some kind of weather that will be happening for the city of Houston. And while obviously weather's going to be happening, it's not going to be very active. It's not going to be very strange. It's not going to be very unusual. And I think for the most part, it'll be very well received. So that's the great news here with our Fox 26 morning update. We've got great looking skies out there right now. Our winds are very light, but more or less from the north, 5 or less miles an hour. The skies are clear, temperatures breaking into the 60s now, and we still have relatively dry air, at least for the city of Houston, with our dew points in the 30s. So yesterday's high temperatures were in the mid to the lower 60s. That's what we're looking at right now. And we will be expected to be warmer than that when we're looking at this afternoon, and we're already close to what we did for yesterday afternoon. This morning, a bit chilly, many of us in the 30s, 38 degrees officially at Intercontinental Airport. It was also 38 degrees up in Huntsville. Katy even came down in at 39. Downtown Houston, Hobby Airport, about 42. Down in Galveston Island, this morning's low was 47. Current temperatures, we've talked about 61 degrees in the downtown Houston area. It's 59 out in College Station. Belleville coming in about 64. Sugar Land at 62. And just a bit cooler still down there. We're trying to warm up a bit more. It's 59 in Galveston. Take this temperatures right now compared to where we were yesterday, and we're about 10 degrees warmer. And we don't expect to be 10 degrees warmer in the afternoon when we sort of top out, but we certainly expect to be several degrees warmer as we look at our future cast here by hour. Looks like we're going to be in the 66 to 67 range, and then we'll be having a pleasant evening, clear skies. Lots and lots of clear skies in the forecast. More than, again, it's not going to be cloud-free completely, but this high pressure will be more or less loitering over the state of Texas for this week, just hanging out, really doing its thing, keeping rain out of the forecast and bringing us some sunshine. And also, it'll be very helpful for the issues that we are having right now with the river flooding. So I'm going to spend just a minute talking about that, because for the downtown Houston area and the higher populated metro area, I know this isn't as much of an impact, but it's certainly something that our neighbors and friends are dealing with around the Houston area. And what's happened is we had so much rain last week, and it falls in our yards, and then it gets in our streets, and maybe it floods them for just a brief amount of time, and then that gets into the bayous, and finally the bayous empty into the larger river areas, and those are the ones now that still are dealing with all that water that fell last week. And that's why we have some of these areas that are highlighted in green from the National Weather Service with flood warnings that go along with them. So the San Bernard River is still expected to have some flooding. It's a little bit more moderate at this point, but it's starting to fall. The minor flooding along the Brazos River near West Columbia as well. So those are a couple spots where we're seeing them. We zip over now to the Trinity River, which is a little bit further over into Liberty, the city of Liberty, where we're beginning to see, and that's going to be around for a couple more days. And then, the San Jacinto River, we have two forks of that, the east and the west, both having problems. For sure, we're looking at some minor flooding happening on the East Fork. That should go in through tomorrow. And then Trinity River up a little bit further to the north in the Riverside area, also having some flooding that's sort of connected into that as well. So again, keeping an eye on our rivers right now, because we don't have rain falling, but it has certainly made its impact with all of the rain that has fallen. And we have some very comfortable temperatures overall across the state as well. Lubbock right now in the 50s. It's also 58 degrees in Dallas. Del Rio at 62. And we've talked about those comfortable temperatures just sort of breaking into the 60s right now in the Houston area. This will be our next storm system. So we're watching to the west coast for another one of those Pacific storm systems. It'll start swirling in and beginning to bring a lot of rain and precipitation to the west coast. That's going to move across the Rockies, deliver some more rounds of snow, which is great for all those late season snow, or maybe this is prime time of the snow skiing season. I'm not sure exactly when we peak out at that, but it seems like it'd be a good time for that. When we look at the rainfall, though, once that storm system gets to Texas, this looks pretty wet. This looks pretty rainy, and it reminds us perhaps of last week, but the main difference is going to be this is not coming over an extended stretch of time. It's basically going to be here next weekend. So when we look at today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, all rain free, and the majority of this Friday rain is all going to be much later in the day. It's really Saturday when we're looking at the higher rain chances. And we're going to look at that in just a moment, but I want to talk about a short-term futurecast here to begin with, just to sort of, again, remind you, yes, we have that river flooding, but the weather itself is going to be fantastic. Look for another cool night tonight with a few extra clouds. We won't be quite as chilly. I don't think it will be as many people in the 30s, some of us, but most of us in those lower 40s for the lows. And then we get to tomorrow afternoon, and once again, fantastic looking weather, still a little bit dry air in place, maybe a few more clouds than what we've got across the area for today. But now let's look at that extended futurecast. I'm going to start this, you'll notice, at 5 p.m. on Thursday. So we're jumping way towards the end of the week. As we move into the evening hours on Thursday, we don't see much, but when we get into Friday, and then especially into the afternoon, we begin to see how things start to get more active here across our portions of the state. And for sure, here we are Saturday morning early, definitely looking for some showers and rain. So really anytime during the day on Saturday, and we're going to see rain. And then as we get later in the day, you see how those intensities increase quite a bit. And obviously to note, this gives us this far out, gives us a good idea of the trends that will be happening. The specific timing on this always has to kind of get adjusted and tweaked as we move through time. We're pretty confident something like this will happen, but is it going to happen a few hours earlier, a few hours later? Will this intensity be, a few hundred miles or so to the west or to the east? So we can give ourselves a little bit of time to adjust some of that, but we definitely get the idea of what we're going to be seeing coming our direction. So definitely make some plans to get outside. Hopefully our yards will kind of get some of that rain out and we'll be able to sort of dry out overall. We do have a very important holiday coming up on Friday, Groundhog's Day, in case you forgot. It's February 2nd. And that just always reminds me, wow, we've already made it to February as well, right? Thinking that we're going to be another week or two of January where we're running out fast here, as a matter of fact. And then here are those showers and storms that we're looking at on Saturday. As I mentioned, the timing right now, I'm putting later in the day on Saturday, which means we'll have a chance for those rains to kind of extend into Sunday a bit as well. If things speed up a bit, then we'll look for less chances of rain on Sunday, perhaps a few more chances of rain on Friday, but we'll sort of tweak that, move that as we're heading forward. And of course, we'll be getting ready for Punxsutawney Phil on Friday to kind of do his thing, his or her thing there, giving us an idea of what the rodent forecasting will look like for the next 6 weeks or so. All right, that's going to do it for this morning's weather update. Hope you're having a great day. Make some plans to get outside, and of course, we'll be coming back here in about 20 minutes for Fox 26 News at Noon.
That Qatar right now